Hello and welcome to the 17th Tech Talk. Today we have with our guest today, Sasha. I will introduce him.
Hello.
Hello, Sasha.
Hi.
Hi. So today we're going to talk about a bit about with our clients. So Sasha is a co-owner of Logit. Logit is a company that has been working with 46Elks for the past almost 3 years. And we want to kind of get to know you, get to know what you do, and talk about all the good things you have done during the past 20 years. So I think like in the IT world, there aren't that many companies that can say that they are alive for 20 years. But yeah, here you are. So you did something good, obviously, if you are still here. So can you tell us a little bit how you got started? What did you do at the very beginning? That's quite interesting to hear.
Sure. Actually, I have not. I have not been in this company since the start. I have joined later, some 15 years ago, in 2007, I think. And I joined the company. With the idea of joint development of a software product that I have started independently, and with Logit, we had plans to develop it on the market and do business like that. But in the end, that pretty much failed. Although we had thousands of potential clients, but we chose the wrong business model, and it was not a good time for that particular product. Nevertheless, we had quite a few clients in website development, and even more potential to develop that business. So I started working on web development, and that was in 2008 or something like that, end of 2008, and that was my first experience working in web development, because before that I was doing mostly desktop Windows software and desktop kind of products. So we started working with Python and Django. Django was not even 1.0 released when I started using it. So
Why so early?
Well,
what attracted you to it?
What attracted me? Well, it worked really, really, really well, and I knew kind of when I started, when I took the development department, there has been quite a lot of issues with development. We used both PHP and Windows .NET at the time, and both of those platforms did not work the way I thought it should work. And my ideas were, well, somewhat controversial, because the other people in the company were not as assured as I was.
Because it's a new technology.
Yes,
I'm sure they were.
Yes, and
For
Python.
reason.
Yeah, today, like 15 years ago, Python was not the most used programming language in the world, and I can say I was one of the pioneers in Croatia using Python. There were only at that time I knew only about one other company that was using Python and Django, presumably. Later, I found out more of them, of course, and today it's quite common in Croatia and in the rest of the world, of course.
Yeah, it is. So Python is kind of rules right now.
Sure does.
Going forward into the future, you had developments in the company. You had a period where you turned down new clients. What was that about?
Well, we really had a lot of clients from that era,
Mm,
and we kind of decided that we don't want to be a web development agency anymore. That kind of business, like, it has its issues, and we had our own issues with it, and we just wanted something else. And some 5 or 6 years ago, like mid last decade, we decided, Vishnya and I decided, Vishnya is the original founder and my partner in the company right now. We decided we would like to more uh, to try developing our own products instead
mm,
of client-based work. And the period, like, you cannot just, okay, we have a product. We didn't have even an idea what we would like to do. So basically, we started to scale down the web development business and tune up the consulting business.
mm.
And during that time, we were seeking the idea we would like to work on.
Yeah, it's your kind of approach to companies is somewhat unorthodox. You have a different approach. You are trying to kind of get into the gist of what they're trying to do, and that is at least my impression. So
Well, yeah,
yeah.
that definitely is correct, and that was perhaps one of the problems with our approach to web development business we had before as an agency, because a lot of clients just, they
Mm,
just want some kind of a website.
mm,
And that was not the approach we wanted. We did not want to produce websites en masse.
mm,
And we certainly had hundreds of clients before that. So it was kind of obvious uh, that simply we wanted more from, we wanted better quality, and our client base mostly wanted just something to be done quickly and just work.
mm.
So
So
they really didn't need our expertise at the time.
so you kind of felt, I presume, what we all kind of felt in that period. I don't want to say the web becoming cheap, but
it
more and
it
more
certainly
company
became commodity. Yeah.
commodity. Yes,
Yes.
yeah. So it definitely felt in a way that now a lot of websites are actually templates, and a lot of websites
Yes.
are very generic.
Yes. Yes.
What do you
Yes.
think about that
Exactly.
trend? What do you think about that? Because it is a way of communicating with your end client. So, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts?
uh if you have asked me that question like 7, 8, or 9 years ago, I would be strongly opposed to that. But today, like, everybody needs a website. Every business really needs a website, and most of them do not have the resources, nor the time, nor the skill to actually develop something that is really high quality. And for those kind of clients, it's certainly good to have some kind of a web presence. And
Hmm.
any all those CMSs, like Wix and Squarespace. I think they're awesome today.
Hmm.
I really do, because you do not you do not need, as a small business, for example, you do not need a custom solution. You do not need a web agency that will develop something for you. Perhaps you do not even need a custom design. And those kind of services are perfect for those kind of clients. If you
It-
need something more, if you need something custom or special design made just for you with your own visual identity and brand, yeah, sure, hire an agency, hire a designer, and do it like that. But if you can do it alone, yeah, for $20 a month or whatever the price is for those kinds of services. I think doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. It is templated. It doesn't matter. It can be like hundreds of other websites in the world, just like that one. The content is king here.
Yeah, that is exactly what I was trying to like conclude and say. It seems like you're saying that content is the most important part, and like
Definitely.
we shouldn't focus on the form.
Yes.
There are some rules that you have to abide to, but the form isn't crucial. Uh, we definitely noticed that for anyone wondering, Logit has started a very big um, research of basically looking up of all of IT related, so IT companies, their websites, and you are doing a huge research where you are trying to basically show that some websites from IT companies don't have that content that they should have, like use cases and stuff like that. So yeah, that is quite interesting to see that IT companies usually have little to none content on their websites. Yeah, that is kind of funny actually. Yeah,
Yes, but
well,
it is also understandable. We're all busy and we all have a lot of things to do. And sometimes our own website is the last thing we focus on.
yeah.
And we have all been guilty of that.
It's a lot about having that dedicated person doing it. So basically, you have to have someone that stays on top of it and tries
Yes.
to do something. What you mentioned, it is someone that does that has their work cut out for them. It is really hard to do all of that. So presence on the internet, especially in the pandemic. I don't know. You probably remember like the flood of websites and e-commerce and web shops emerging during the 2020. So that kind of showed that you have to be very vigilant and you have to be very actually adaptable to the change. What are your thoughts on that kind of very uh, forced digital transformation that happened?
It's been a long overdue, frankly. And I could be cynical about it. And like we have been telling our clients for a decade and more about the importance of internet, importance of web presence, anything related to that. I guess the pandemic spoke louder than anything we have said ever before. And
Yeah.
look, it was bound to happen. If it was not a pandemic of 2020, it would be something else in a year or two. And in the end, well, I understand why some people just not to refuse to have a web presence, but it was low priority. I understand that, but things change,
Yeah.
times change, so businesses have to change with them.
Yeah, every business has their own way of kind of handling the digital transformation. It doesn't come the same to everyone. Like hotels will have a different approach, and I don't know, producers of lettuce agriculture will have a different approach. So it doesn't make sense for some businesses to have a strong digital transformation. Yeah, it could make things easier, but perhaps really doesn't make sense for their business at that time. But yeah, so that's why I think companies like yours are really important to kind of give the path to the company and see what they exactly need to do on their website. So do they need to focus on something else rather than on, I don't know, developing a certain technology? So that is quite interesting. In 46X, we had this discussion about having apps, how when you should actually develop an app, a mobile app. So we had this discussion. It was called Hello World, SMS as a Hello World, something like that. And the point was, I went out and say, okay, cool, an SMS company is telling you to use SMSs. Well, like we are being very like original and funny. But the point was, yeah, you should build an app, and it's all right to build an app and build that bridge of communication and gap that yeah yeah bridge that
Bridge
gap.
that gap.
Yeah. But the point was that you could do it in smaller steps, like use an
Yes.
SMS firstly, get that communication going, and have that feedback without the cost of building an app, because apps cost a lot of money and you have to upkeep them and you have to support them, and you have to be, not everyone wants to install that app. Like, I don't want another app for my dentist. Get away from me. So it is very, everyone has a phone and you can use an SMS to kind of bridge that gap. uh, how did you use the SMS and to bridge that gap? Did you go? What are your thoughts? How did you want to handle the problem that you had communication wise? Did your thoughts gravitate towards some sort of an application? Then you thought about an SMS. How did that go?
Actually, the first time I was approached by a client to send an S via an application was for our client Rijeka Sport, uh, and at that time, now before that, I didn't even think about SMS as a way of communication, uh, because it was, in my mind, it was mostly associated with spam, and that's definitely not, like, I really do block numbers when they spam me, uh,
We
and
all
I
do.
don't want, like, SMS is really, in my mind, SMS uh, is for something urgent or important or both, and it's not, of course, unless we're talking about personal messages, but we're not talking about that. We're
No.
talking about business to business communication and stuff like that. So it has to be either transactional or important uh, or urgent. And I had a perfect example of that for our client, where they sent SMS messages uh, to all those of their employees who do not want to use an app. Those are somewhat either older people who simply do not want to use another app that we have developed for them, and it really worked very well, and everybody is happy. So each morning, 7 a.m., each of the venue managers get their daily calendar uh, for their venue that they handle. So they know all the reservations. They know what parts of the venue they have to prepare
Hmm.
for the people who have reserved the space for that. So it was very ideal actually for SMS. So that's how we use it. It was a simple to implement, very simple idea, but in practice it works perfectly.
Yeah. So you just send out an SMS to the employees, which kind
Yes.
of react on that, the content of the message, and that is quite valuable for them for that.
Yes, actually, they get a formatted message. Sometimes it's a longer one, and luckily these are not 1990s where you can only send like 160 characters or so. Uh, and this is where your service, your API works perfectly, because I can just format a long text and just send it. And today's phone, of course, display it as a single message, although the physical transfer is split in parts in 160 characters, stuff like that. But I'm so lucky I don't have to think about it,
Yeah.
because I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah, it is about taking the complexities of the telco world and kind
Exactly.
of not having people deal with it. Actually,
Exactly.
there are a lot of complexities that happen behind the scenes, but you should not worry about it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. There are a lot of things I care about, and SMS is not one of those. And I'm so glad that there are services, and 46x proved to be perfect in that case, that solve that complexity for me.
Really cool. So yeah, we have Sanya in the chat. Hey, Sanya. Hello.
Hi, Sanya.
So glad that you joined. Cool. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Thank you, Sasha, for joining and talking to us today. It's Friday. Happy Friday, everyone. And feel free to join on this link. You'll get some extra credits when you join on this link. And basically, you can get started right away by sending a test SMS. Cool. Sasha, thanks again for joining.
Thank you.
Happy Friday to everyone. And yeah, that's it. Bye.
Bye.